welcome, 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 welcome. I love saying welcome, 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 because it's literally all my guides here. They're just saying welcome, 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 welcome. And then they always step in to sort of say, lovely to see you. It's good to be here. They sort of said, okay, thank you. And they're just working through my energy. I'm giggly and everything because my energy is quite high at the moment, because when they come through, this is what I need, is that high frequency, that high energy. And the conversation today is about Akashic Records. So I'm giggling because, again, they're shuffling around. I can feel their energy moving around. Okay, thank you. Being a psychic medium and a channeler, trance channeler, I'm tuned in and they've been giving me some information. And before I started today's session, thank you, I was doing some automatic writing. Automatic writing is literally tune into my guides. I gave them the topic, which they already know. They got the invitation, they're already here. And they're like, okay, we need to tell you this information. It's fine. So today is being recorded live, live to my guests, and I can see them in the background, so it's all great. And it'll be here for those who want to listen back to this this recording, so you can constantly listen back to it to get any information you need to have from this. So I have a live audience in front of me, and then we'll have this information, and then also we'll go to questions a little while. And those who are not here in the live in the flesh, you can always ask me questions about Akashic Records, and you just write a message and then I will get that. Okay, thank you. They're laughing because as a psychic, sometimes when a client wants to see me, it's like almost like an email that gets sent to them that gets sent to me. So energy wise, I always receive information about a client needs to see me, and then before I know it, they've either booked on to have a session or something's happened. So it's just really funny how they just said it. Okay, fine, thank you. So I've asked them to stop shuffling around, to stand still, and let's have a look at the information. Okay, thank you. Okay, okay, how's that? Okay, so as I say, I've already wrote some information about the Akashic Records, but if I look back at my first visit to the Akashic Records, I didn't even know what it was called, Akashic Records. I had no idea. And when I'm talking about this, it's literally about 22 years ago when I had the accident, when the van hit me and I was out of my body. And when I left my body, I literally went off and I didn't know where I was going. I didn't question it or nothing at all. I know I was somewhere else. Now, the image that I got then, and I'll have a little look at that, the work that I'm doing now with the Akashic Records, the image that I got then was that I felt that I was very warm in a very bright white light around me, and all I know is that I had some beings, and I could call them beings because they didn't look human at all. There were some beings that were around me, and I know that I was being told information, and the information I knew that was really important, and I knew I had to remember it. And of course, when I came back, I forgot. And there's a reason for that. We have amnesia. So thank you. They just said they're going to go off in different directions. But when I came back to the same plane, planet Earth, it's like I had amnesia, because if you think about it, if we know why we're coming back exactly, and we're consciously aware of it, there is sometimes we won't want to get into a relationship with somebody that we've been in before. So karmically, sometimes we come back, well, not sometimes, always, we come back on a soul journey where we join forces with those, the interconnectedness of those individuals. We come back here to learn certain lessons. So each time we come back on that reincarnation loop, that recycle loop, we come back to those we need to learn lessons from, and also about growing in yourself as well. So the reason for amnesia through the birth canal is that you don't always remember why you've come back on a soul level. It's just that it's so that if you, as I say, if you knew, some of you might say, oh no, I don't want to get into that relationship with that individual because I got hurt by the individual, or this happened to me before, or whatever. So, okay, thank you. But what they're saying is there are memories of your lifetime that you carry, okay, thank you, in your energy frequency, and they are unlocked, thank you, unlocked when you are traveling through the human being existence, when your life. So I'll explain. Okay, so bear with me, I'm channeling, so I have to keep recapping, thank you, recapping the information. They speak very, very fast, my guides. So when you go through life, every bit of information that you are processing, your thought process, your experiences, your emotion experiences, traumas, dramas, everything from the moment that you are created, they're saying, you think that you're created on planet Earth, obviously the sperm, the egg, whatever, but you are created before that time, your soul. But when you are created and you come forward, every experience that you're experiencing, you store like in a data bank or a database of who you are as a human being. Just before I started, I was saying to my audience here, it was a bit like sometimes your database becomes really full, like on your phone, that you've stored so many songs, or on your computer, and it sort of says you're ready for an update and software update and stuff. And I think they just said humans are ready for a software update at this time on your planet Earth. That's why some of you are experiencing this craziness of feeling a bit out of all over the place, emotional, tired, and everything else. Okay, thank you. So every experience that you have, every thought that you have, every relationship that you have, everything that you eat, thank you, is stored in this energetic pattern of who you are, this blueprint of who you are. And that sort of gets, thank you, I didn't think of that, thank you. It's like it gets downloaded. So every time you go to sleep, this is what they're saying right now, but every time you go to sleep, it's like the information from your day, thank you, is being processed through your brain. The psychological part of you is being processed through your brain. And where you go into that, you know, you've got the alpha, the theta, the beta, the delta wave, brain waves that you go into your sleep, the theta waves. The information, thank you, I didn't know it's just coming through right now. The information is getting sent, it's getting transferred, and it's getting downloaded. Downloaded. Okay, thank you. Downloaded to a memory bank. So, i.e., Akashic Records, all your information about yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your relationships, everything is being downloaded to the Akashic Records. And the Akashic Records is like a database, thank you, of who you are. So this database of information is stored there. Now, okay, I'm questioning them as I'm talking to you. I'm saying, but surely then, you know, what if something happens throughout the day and then you don't go to sleep? Does it get downloaded? But they're saying yes, and they're just trying to make it easier for us to understand. So it's always getting downloaded. It's always getting processed through your brain is processing it, and the emotions and the thoughts and the feelings. Thank you. And then also your cells, your DNA is processing the information. Okay, thank you. Because as the human, if you're going through stressful times, obviously, you know that there's the adrenaline, the cortisol in your body, your cells are like you're also your memory bank in your body, that they are feeding into the information, they're holding, they're retaining the information. Okay, thank you. They said, okay, it's a bit like some work that I do with some clients is that information is stored in their body. So thank you. For instance, there was, okay, all right, do I need to mention that? Okay, thank you. I was talking to somebody today that they're in a relationship with a twin flame, and sometimes when they're in the act of making love, if this person touched them in a certain area, it's almost as if they have like a flashback or something. There's a connection to a past life. And I've worked with quite a few clients that know that they've met their twin flame or soulmates, and it's reactivated by touch because your skin, your flesh is processing information. I've had that with rape victims or people have been sexually abused. They can't stand people touching them and stuff, not all of them, but in some situations, because their body has stored a memory bank of the information. Okay, thank you. Okay, I forgot about that. When I was a breastfeeding counsellor many years ago, I worked with a few women who had postnatal depression because they had difficult childbirth, like delivery or labour, and they remembered it, like that sensation of pushing the baby through, and they sensed that in their inner thighs. Thank you. And I worked with quite a few women about how they felt about their body and stuff. So you are, thank you. All your senses are processing all the information of your day, your hearing, your seeing, your feeling, your touch, and all that information gets downloaded. We'll say at the end of the day, but that's not necessarily true. It gets all downloaded to a memory bank and is stored away. I think they just said like Apple iCloud or iCloud. This is what they just said, a bit like that. I've never heard that before at all. Okay, so it's all stored, and it's stored in this, the Akashic Records, that's what they're calling it. Now, when I had my accident the first time around, I didn't know it's called the Akashic Records. All I know was I was taken to the Hall of Souls, and that's what I was told, the Hall of Souls. And the beings that I saw were non-human looking. And I remember there were books being open in front of me. So it was like a giant library. It was like, you know, a crest of a room of not corridors, shelving of books. And there were scrolls and maps and things they were pulling out of tubes. This is how I saw it. Now, each person that goes there might see it slightly different, but it's like my mind needed to see that, to feel it, that I would feel comfortable with it. For somebody else, it might be described in a different way, but it doesn't mean it's wrong or right, it just means that how they feel comfortable with it. So I remember scrolls were being pulled out, and I remember that there was a lot of like a blue waxy paper, not paper, but something material was being pulled out. and like an architect that would pull out the drawings, and you would be able to see the layers of the building. It was like as if it was being raised up. It was all being raised up so I could see all the information. So it was like 3D sort of thing that you can see, and it was all about information about my life and the journey I've been on. And I became really inquisitive, because then I realized that I'd been here before. So it had all my past lives, the journey of my soul. It had all the directions. I didn't know at the time, I didn't see my future self, but I know I was being instructed, and I was being told there was something that I had to do. At that time, 22, 23 years ago, I didn't have a clue what it was. And if I look at the shelving, the way they explain the shelving of where the books are, and each book holds information about your life journey, and your soul pods being your family members, being the lovers that you come across, all that information stored there. And as I say, it was like long corridors. It feels as if it was endless. It went on and on and on and on to infinity, they just said. Okay. So that's what I was being shown. And I remember a very safe feeling that I was as one, and I always felt very connected. This energy felt that I was very connected as one. I was part of everything in the universe. It's very strange to say this, but I felt I was at one. I felt very safe. I was very connected, and so much love there. That's what I felt. Now, and then I returned back to my body, and of course that was the first near-death experience. It's like the third near-death experience, where I left my body, my heart stopped on the operating table. There was a situation where the operating theatre was blue, and when I came around in that lifetime, or during that operation, it was white again, and I was being told, you must go back, you must go back. And there was a gentleman in front of me, turned around, he said, I'm telling her she's got to go back, it's not time. And I know I was being told off, and I was like, I felt as if I was 4 years old. It was terrible. And I was like, oh, I'm back again. So I popped back out of my body, and I was like, I was there again, the Akashic Records being shown information again. And then I came back. Now I'm doing a lot of trance channeling work at the moment, and I'm going deeper into the work that I'm doing. You know, now I channel Galactic Council and other light beings, and I'm revisiting the Akashic Records quite a lot now, a lot more. And they are telling me a lot more information. I'm accessing that information, and I can go there without popping out my body and dying, which is absolutely brilliant. And I feel as one. I'm connecting with source. I'm connecting with source. I'm heart-centered. I'm opening up my heart, and I'm connecting now with the Akashic Records daily, actually picking up some information and channeling now the work that I'm doing. And I go into the same place. I go into that exact same place as where I was before. And that heartfelt feeling of overwhelming, of feeling like I want to cry, because I feel as if I'm one with the Akashic Records. I'm there now in that space. Now, what happens as a medium and psychic medium, when I sit with a client, I'm seeing into all the areas of the energy of who they are, and I'm picking up if there's any blockages. So when I work with my guides, my team. I work with Archangel Metrodon. I didn't know who he was at that particular time. I'll say he. And I was told that Archangel Metrodon was going to work with me when I was working with Akashic Records. And I was also told that they have the key and I have the key, and that I can access the Akashic Records for my clients and look at where there's blockages of the soul and your journey. Basically, this is what they were saying to me. And there are other people that can do this too, but they were saying this is what I do with my clients. I can see if there's any blockages psychically in your blueprint, and we can look at you looking at shifting them. So the blockages could literally just be that on planet Earth, as you are now, there is the humanness of you, that there is something, a repeating lesson that keeps coming up, and it's about working through it. And that happens when you've had that in your soul programming, that something that you need to look at releasing, working upon when you've been a human here, because this is why you're having this human experience with all your senses. You're aware of now what you hear, you feel, you see, so it helps you on your journey, so your soul can continue to move, and so your soul is experiencing it and everything else. Okay, thank you. Now, okay, they said on entering the Akashic Records, you need a guide. They just said you need a guide to take you forward for the Akashic Records. Okay, and you can do this as well, and I'll explain how in a moment. But when you're looking into Akashic Records, the version of yourself, of where you're at this particular time on your journey, your energy residue of who you are, you will step into the Akashic Records of who you are. So you're only going to see on reflection, like a mirror effect of who you are right now in yourself when you do this yourself. When you have a guide, this is what they're saying, when you have a guide, your guide raises the frequency, the energy frequency, and it's easier for your guide because, thank you, they said, because you're detached as the guide, you're detached emotionally, the emotional feelings that you have as the human. So as the human, when you step into the Akashic Records, like your energy steps into the Akashic Records and asks for information, if you do not use a guide, you're only going to see a reflection of who you are, where you are right now in yourself. Okay, this is information they're just giving me right now. With a guide, the guide will work through their energy stream. When the guide always has a higher frequency, and the guide will be able to show you like a tour guide of what's to come or who you are or what's happening. Okay, thank you. They're also saying to me, your higher self, your higher consciousness, your higher self, you can ask to tap into your higher self. So your higher self is your guide to some degree, and that will help you navigate like a tour guide around your Akashic Records and look into that for you. Now, to get to that stage of your higher self, I'm listening to them straight here, you have to be doing the work with yourself. Okay, thank you. They said this is not for the backseat driver. This is not for the person that sits on the couch that doesn't do the work. This is for those who already meditate. This is for those who, if they want to get to that level, to do the meditation, to do the daily work on themselves, to tune into who they are, how they're feeling, to be consciously aware of who they are and where they are on their journey. Thank you. They said this is by then also tapping into how you are feeling and what's going on for you in this present moment in your life. This is also for you, if you know there is something that is blocking you in this life, this is for you to look at it. Okay, thank you. They're talking also about your higher consciousness, your higher self is trying to assist you to move forward on your journey and trying to direct you to where you need to go. But some of you are resistant. Let's have a little look. So, okay, thank you. For those who say are in relationships that they know that are no longer serving them, they're unhappy. For those who feel that they should be in a different place from where they are at, whether this is physically or emotionally or mentally. For those who may be in a job that they're not happy with. For those who are not serving themselves, this is what they're just saying, you reduce or you push down your energy frequency. So when you're in the flow of who you are and you are doing what you need for you and you're not questioning that, it's no good, they said, by saying to somebody, if they give you an invitation to go to a party and you say, okay, I'll go, but really you don't want to be there because you reduce your energy frequency. By you being aware consciously of who you are, where you are on your journey, and you want to do the work, then it's easier for you to then focus and concentrate and connect to your high consciousness, which is part of connected to your soul, which will guide you through the Akashic Records. It's easier. So once you try different techniques to get to that higher peak level of who you are, it's easier. Your higher self will then be able to drop you signs, messages, and connect with you a lot easier. Your higher self is always trying to guide you. So, okay, thank you. So they're saying through the messages, the double digits, through everything that you have that's going on in your life, the feathers or any little signs that you symbolize as they are connected to the universe, your higher self, your guides are trying to guide you, trying to direct you on that pathway. And they will also work with you when you enter into the Akashic Records. Okay, thank you. Let's have a little look. Okay. They're also saying to me that there are techniques when you drop off to sleep at night, when you are on the verge of falling asleep, that feeling before you just drop off and you enter into those brainwave patterns. then there is a way then that if you set the intention that you wish to go gain access, that you wish to have information that your higher self can relay back to you, then you will be shown within your dream. So you can do this before you go to sleep. And this is to practice. This is, thank you, they said, to get the journal. This is to get your journal. This is so that you can write in what is that dream shown you. So they sort of said that within the dream work, that you set the intention before you go to sleep. So when you're in bed, you're at that level that you're already drifting in and drifting out, that you will say that you wish to connect to your higher self. And your higher self is working within the Akashic Records, all the information stored there, your database of who you are, like where you've come from, your past, your present self, and your future. Now, when I say that, that's for the human mind, because that's how we understand it. But there is no such thing as past, present, and future, because it's all in the dimension of who you are. So then what will happen is, then you'll be able to connect a lot easier to your higher self to ask for guidance. So if you ask for guidance and say, am I on the right path? Or is this the right job? Or whatever it is that you need to ask, is this the right person for me? Whatever it is that your heart truly desires, they said, your heart is connected to your soul, your higher consciousness, your higher self, then the information should be relayed in the dream, because it's the dream state that you can go in and out, you can travel. That's different dimensional stuff of yourself, okay? So you can try that. Okay, thank you. They said when the human is on the 3D plane, when you are in the mindset of your daily life, there is a density to you. Okay, thank you. They're just laughing. They said, but you have to sometimes be in the 3D world, of course, because you need to eat, you need to sleep, you need to buy your shopping, you need to pay your bills. That's normal. That's okay. That's why you are here. You have to feed yourself. But to go into the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, the eighth dimension where the Akashic Records are kept, you can do this within dream work. This is what they're saying. I'm just checking my notes just to see that I'm with them. I got you. Okay. So this is how you go in and out, how you can enter into the Akashic Records where all the information is stored. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay. This is, thank you. Okay. Okay, very good point, because I wrote down this sentence when they did the automatic writing earlier. It says, what you are ready for and what you're ready to listen to, that's what you will discover within the Akashic Records. So you will show up in the Akashic Records of who you are right now, and you will have that mirror effect. So I don't know if you've watched that film by Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, one of the Harry Potter films where they showed the mirror and he could see his family, Harry Potter. It's a bit like that. You will show up in the Hall of Mirrors as well, and you will see a reflection of yourself. Okay, thank you. They said to mention this, that if you look at who you are as the human, there are many sides to you. And what they mean by that is that how you will be seen by different people around you. So how you might be seen by your parents, your friends, your lovers, your family members, whoever, you're always seen slightly different. How people might see you on the outside world, the shopkeeper, they just said, the bus driver, or whoever it is, they are going to see you through their eyes of who they are and through the model of their world of how they see you, and then how they have the interaction with you. So it's very similar to the Hall of Mirrors, the Hall of Souls, as they're saying about the Akashic Records. So you will show up as who you are right now. So the more work that you do, thank you, the more work that you do on yourself, the more that you focus on becoming the better version of yourself. If you're unhappy and you know there needs to be some changes, but the work that you do upon yourself, you show up at a different frequency in the Hall of Souls, in the Akashic Records, okay? So if you work with a guide, your guide raises that frequency, and then your guide can tell you what they can see for you and how you can try to resolve some issues. I've had this with some clients that have had previous soulmate connections, and they needed just to be sorted out in this lifetime so they don't repeat the same issue again and again and again. So the more that work that you do on yourself as the human here now, you then carry on continuing and moving forward. So all that database, all that information is kept in the Akashic Records, so it's stored there and you can gain access to it, so that then it allows you to keep continuing to move your soul along. Okay, thank you. They also just said to mention, the Akashic Records also holds information so that when you do pass on, when your physical form of who you are, your physical form, your body right here now in the human plane, ceases to continue to work, because they said, I don't know if I want to say that, but it's a bit like a apple, you know, the apple or any material like that, organic material, breaks down, and in the end it moves on. So it breaks down. That's just how it works. I don't like to say that, but I would say, as in, your physical form, your human form, is your vessel, like a car, and your soul is like the driver. So when the car no longer works, like our heart stops, like the car with the engine, then the driver can pop out of the car and move into another car and drive another vehicle. And it's the same thing as your soul. When your soul has lived its life in this human shape and form, and this is now finished working, it can then move on to another human vessel. That sounds like the body snatchers. I don't mean that at all, but what I mean is that you come back again and you live your life again, and you get the opportunity to either finish a relationship or to learn from relationships that's come up for you in your life. Okay, thank you. They just said it's not by coincidence that you bump into a certain partner in your life, or you live a certain relationship with that particular partner. There are reasons. You are learning, you are growing, you're going through your soul growth. Okay, thank you. Very important. They just said, they're showing me Archangel Metrodon, and they're showing me the scales. So when you pass, you move on. When this physical form that's it, it's time, it's worn out, the physical form at your body. They're saying to me it's like scales. They show me that, and it's like it's weighed up your lifetime. So they're showing me a feather as well. So they're showing me like it's weighed up of like what you have done in this lifetime and what it is that you need to learn. So it's looking at, where do you go next? What is it that you need to do? What is the lessons that you learned from this lifetime? So the Akashic Records holds all the database, all the information about you in particular. And then you get to also, thank you, to see the soul pods, the families that you've been born into, and also the interrelationship of those and why you've been brought together. I'm just going to ask them, is there anything else, to make sure I've just given you all the information they need you to see or hear or feel. Okay, they said it's funny, the humans always fear passing over death, and even the expression of passing over. They say because there's never death of the soul, because it's an essence. Okay, thank you. I was explaining to somebody the other day, the smelly sticks, the incense sticks, when you light one of those and you see the smoke and it moves within the atmosphere, it's very much as in, okay, thank you, the transformation. So just not to see yourself like a smelly stick, but it's to see yourself that when you leave your body, you are the essence, like the smoke, and you become one within the space around in the environment. So you don't disappear, you are energy that moves around, and you become as one with the universe. So that's what they're sort of saying to me. Let me see if there's anything else. No, so far they're like, okay, so that's the information about the Akashic Records. I have a live audience here now. I'm going to go to questions. So I will pause this video. For those who listen to it, it's been lovely here and being here this evening talking about Akashic Records. If there's any questions that you have and would like me to answer them, please send me an email or get in touch with us through Odyssey, and I'll be able to answer it for you, and I'll put some more answers and questions out later on YouTube as well. Okay, so thank you for joining me, and now I'm going to go to my live audience, so just one moment.